Awesome. Welcome, everyone. I don't know, what week are we in? Week 4, week 5, week 4. I think.
Or
It's time is flying by this year, isn't it? So, build to bronze. I would like for a couple of people to share how doing your ideal builder exercise, your ideal builder, oh my goodness, your ideal business builder exercise was, because that can sometimes, reveal what you want, but it can also sometimes reveal where, you may be stuck as well. So, who would like to share how they went with that exercise? Don't erase me at once. Yes, Muriel.
I had 3 points, and I probably could find more if I'd had more time, but was pretty busy this week. I think someone who cares about other people's needs and health challenges is important. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep. Okay. I also think someone who has some sales skills or people skills that they can talk to people. Someone who is interested in earning an extra income or an income that's important too. So it's my 3.
Awesome. Fantastic. Anyone else would like to share what that exercise did for them?
I would, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said last week that I thought my ideal business builder was over the top. It's been sitting on my fridge. So I went and got it off the fridge because I realised I go to the fridge now and again, but I haven't been really reading it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I looked at it, it's really interesting because 2 things have come out for me recently due to a whole lot of toxicity in our workplace. I've lost quite a lot of confidence. But when I read this, it actually shows me that this is speaking a lot about John and me and the attitudes that we have and the things that we want to do. So our ideal builder is somebody we have to be before we can attract, up to a point. There's also the idea that you can attract people who have more skills than you do, because let's face it, they're the kind of people we also want. But it's really, it's like I have now got in front of me a bit of a confidence fire, because we are already those things.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to refine it a little bit because some of the things are over the top, but most of all, I can now redo it, and it's going up on our board where we can see our why, our DMO, and this, so they're in our faces all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's very important. Well done, Margot. Anyone else want to share before we move into the training for today?
Nicole, can you hear me? I don't know whether I'm on or not.
Yes,
Yeah,
can hear you, Debbie.
Oh, great. Actually, I agree with Margaret. I spent hours on this. It doesn't look like it when you write it down. But I watched, I got stuck on listening to Tyler on the weekend, really, rather than going right across in Vision. That's where I got stuck. And I learned a lot from that. And my ideal business build is really what I need to match up to as well, like leadership, leading with emotional connection, trust and authenticity. Well, I have those things, but I don't have the leadership in place. And high activity, well, I need to do that, get the high activity up and do that with integrity and honesty. Be inspirational, well, I find being inspirational easier than I do in leadership. And I'm embracing someone that embrace personal development daily, which I do that. I really enjoy that, and that's my time of day for myself.
Yeah.
And understanding leadership is a learnable skill and can grow into the levels of a seer, and while reaching out and developing new skills required for those levels to lead. But must believe in redox, the molecules too. So those things all the areas that I need improvement or I do have, but I could actually work with someone that has the same kind of ethics or develop those ethics that are needed. Yes.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah. So it's a really great exercise, I think, doing this. And it, you know, what Margot said, it's like identifies the kind of like, you know, to attract that kind of person, like how are you being that as well, right? Because, you know, we attract what we are. So it's really good to write this down, like kind of what you're looking for. And then it's like, well, am I like stepping up to do those things? So, which brings us to today's training about like it. So we're going to like look into some action today. So,
all right, Nikki, before we go there,
yeah, you go. Yep.
can I just ask Debbie a question? And great share, great vulnerable share there, Debbie. Thank you for that. My question is, you've identified that you are lacking some leadership or wanting some leadership. So my question is, where do you think you could learn about leadership? Do you have access to a resource that can help you with that? Sorry, you muted there.
My husband would love that button. I do have leadership with Julie and Sasha, and I do read about leadership and how people acquired those skills, whether they're in the military or whether they're in business. And I did have a position because I actually ran our own hotel for quite some time, and that required a lot of leadership, but also that was a big burnout towards the end because I did it for 10 years. So the leadership I have to build up again, but I also have to look for more, no, that's not the word. I have to look for some more direction for leadership too, to define it more for myself. So I will need help there, and I'll need to look at where I need to get that help from. Yes.
Yep. Great work. So my reason for asking that question to Debbie were two things. One, I wanted Debbie to have some sort of empowerment about how to move forward on that challenge that she has in her current situation. And two is to also role model to all of you how you can coach people with simply asking a question. Because when you ask a question, the brain automatically goes into the right brain creativity, imagination, like coming up with a solution. It's a solution focused state of mind rather than an analytical state of mind of like, I couldn't, I shouldn't, you know, I need to do this better. It's like, how can I? And I really encourage you to all use that with yourself as you coach yourself and you coach others, and even your clients, right? Like, you know, like how could you, you know, improve your health outcome? How could you improve your income outcome? That sort of thing. So I hope you all got a little bit out of that. It's simply a question can shift everything. And I'll put a reference to a book called The Leadership Challenge in the chat box here, which is a book that was actually given to us by Tyler Norton as one of his favorite leadership books. And then the other one, of course, is John C. Maxwell is a world-renowned, like #1 leadership coach as well. So I'll pop those in the chat box. Back to you, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. So yeah, and I think, you know, like people feel sometimes that they have to have like all these skills, and you develop them. Like that's how you develop skills, is by just doing. Sometimes, you know, I remember when I very first started working, you know, in my corporate career, and I wasn't very long in, and I was a graduate, and my boss left, then my boss's boss left, and so my boss's boss's boss just was like, guess what, you're in charge now, here you go, figure it out. So right, I like learned very quickly how to lead and how to like lead a project and how to manage it, and it was, you know, quite a significant thing, but I was just like, okay, I've just got to figure it out as I go. So there is a lot to be said for that. And yeah, you make mistakes when you do it like that, right? And I would, you know, ask my kind of like big boss, I'd be like, I need some help with this or with this, but I got it done, right? And it taught me so much by putting myself way out of my comfort zone, like way. This would have normally been something that would have been given to someone with 10 years professional experience, but they were like, there's no one else, you just figure it out. So that's kind of like, you know, you can put yourself on the fast track to learning with that. But today I want to talk about really, you know, setting up and prioritizing your time. So
no cup of tea with a pie for me.
Thanks.
Oh, hang on. Someone's like not muted there. Just 1 minute.
I'll have a cup of tea as well.
There's not cups of tea going around here. Okay, so I'm going to share, this is one of the pages out of the Build to Bronze guide. So, we've done a lot of work on kind of like setting yourself up and your mindset, but you need to take the action, right? And what I find where a lot of people struggle with, and sometimes even I struggle with it, is being organized, right? And getting like their life sorted out so that you've got the time and the space to do the action that you need to do. So, like ask yourself, like, see, there's some questions up here. Do you consider your business a hobby or a profession? Is building a residual income really, truly a priority for you? And do your income goals match your actions? So I want you to answer this honestly with yourself and go back and talk to your accountability group about this, okay? Because, you've got an income goal, you want to earn like $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. What are you willing to do to make that happen? So Trish kind of spoke about this a little bit on the weekend in her talk as well. So it's really about like changing your mindset around that. Like it does take something to create that. And then what are you going to actually going to do? So, when we are working as an employee, we go to work, with the time we're at work, we get paid, right? So we put in the effort and we get a reward, and it's very much linked, right? And, you're directed to often by a boss or your employer that this is what you've got to do. And it's like, it's sometimes if you're depending on what sort of environment you're working in, but it's working towards what someone else's objectives, goals, business profit is, or, I worked in like a lot of public policy, politicians, public policy goals, but it's what they want and you are paid to deliver that. But when you're an entrepreneur in your own business, you can actually create an income that keeps paying you, even when you're not working. So you're building an asset, like your business is an asset, and this can provide long-term financial rewards as well as all the personal growth that goes with becoming the person that can do that. But the side of it that people often struggle with is that you are directing your own activities on a daily basis. There's no one telling you, hey Justin, you've got to sit down and do 2 hours of this now, right? Or maybe sometimes I do tell him that though, but not all the time. Just kidding, just joking there. So but you have to be responsible for going, well, I am committed to putting in an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and I'm going to schedule that and make it happen. So you are responsible for that. And that is something that is if people haven't been in their own business, that is a skill that a lot of people need to build, and you need to have a lot of discipline around that. So you're building your own dreams, right? With this, you're building your own dreams, and it is possible for you to create those dreams and those goals that you've written down, but you have to, there'll be a lot of stuff that you have to overcome, like a lot of it brings up like, I'm not worthy of these dreams. And it's like reprogramming that to, yes, you are. There's just a lot of stuff that comes up as you step into this space of being really 100% responsible for how you're creating your own life, because that's what part of what being an entrepreneur and being in business is about. So you need to prioritize your activities, and this is something that I have probably always been good at. Sometimes too, Justin would speak to this, sometimes to his frustration in being able to prioritize my income producing activities, like even, when I had my previous business as well. So you need to ask yourself, is this an income producing activity or a time waster? And, you don't want to overschedule yourself. Like you do need to work within your limits of like what is going to work for you. But you need to block time for your business. This is a business and you need to block time and take it seriously. So that means, not getting interrupted, turning off your phone, turning off your message notifications, or whatever it is when you're doing your income producing activities, contacting, inviting, following up, right? So you need to be present when you're doing them. So this is a really great concept of like looking at the types of activities. So this is, it's famous in a lot of business and personal development work. So you have essential activities. Okay, so these are the things that matter most, and this is in ASEA what I just mentioned: invite, present, and enroll consistently, following up, supporting your team, So planning and prepare, working on your mindset, being a product of the product, using the products, understanding the products. These are essential activities. You need to schedule this into your diary and into your daily and your weekly schedule time for these essential activities. So what's non-essential? So of course we all need to, eat and cook and do those things, but they're not essential to growing your business. So are there things in there that you can delegate, or can you do meal prep so that you don't have to like cook 3 times a day? Like, what are there things that you can do? Are there other people in your household that you can say, okay, well, if you do it these nights, I'll do it those nights. So you can free up time for your essential business activities, right? So I am really, really good at this. Like, I don't clean my house. Like, I haven't cleaned my house for 20 years. I pay someone to do that because I like use that time to focus on my business. Okay. I do like to cook for my family. So that's something that I per se is important. I do a lot of my grocery shopping by click and collect now. So I don't have to go to the grocery store. I get it delivered. And so, yeah, you just need to be clear about like what kinds of things you can outsource, or whether you can have agreements in your household around like delegation of responsibility. So Justin and I have a lot of things, like he does certain things in the house and I do certain things in the house. And some things we both share, but it's very clear, like he does all of the laundry. That's what he does. Like, I don't touch it. I don't interfere with it. He does all of that. So and I do like all of our grocery ordering mostly. Like that's what I take care of. So we're not both trying to do the same things and overlapping. So that's really important. Okay, and then you're going to have your important skills. So important activities. Okay, so what is important for you to be on your A game, right? So for me, it's working out every morning. And I get up and I do it before everyone. Well, normally actually Joy comes out and like have constant stream of chatter, which is, not my ideal, but I like, put her outside on her swing set and things like that while I'm doing it. But for me, if I don't do that, my whole day isn't as productive. And I know that. So that is like critical for me. So what is your important things that you need to do? Your personal development. Maybe you're a person who needs to meditate in the morning to set your day up, or do it at night before you go to bed. What are the things you need to do? Where's your time for your self-care? We need to look after ourselves to be on our A game. And where's the time for your family, or the people that are important to you? You need to have time for those things, and they're important things. You need to schedule them into your week as well. And then what's not important, and this is where a lot of people are spending a lot of their time, right, is on these things that are important. TV, social media, trivial activities, surfing the internet, gaming, computer games, online gaming. A lot of people are spending their time on that. And if you have like a big goal and a big vision for what you want to create in your life and a big dream, putting time into those not important activities is 100% not going to get you there. So one for me was reading novels. It was like something I enjoyed, but it's not important. So I made a decision when I started ASEA, no novels. I don't think I read a novel for like 4 years when I started ASEA, like no novels. And I don't even now read anywhere near as many novels as what I once did before ASEA, because I made a decision that was less important than me having my dream of like time freedom, location freedom, and a residual income. Like that was less important. So, and like I didn't watch TV for a lot of years. Like Justin and I, we do that now. Like we'll hang out and like relax together, but we didn't do it for a long, long time. So you have to like sit down and really, like this week, your task is to take a really serious look at this and be honest with yourself. And if you're honest, I'm sure there'll be some things that you're like, oh yeah, I really am like, doing a lot of these not important things. So replace some of those not important things with essential and important things. So the important things, they can be things like you need to work out, you need to go for a walk every day, you need to schedule, a certain amount of time with your kids every day. Those things are important. But a lot of us are focusing on those non-important things, and, get rid of some of them and make the time for the essential and the important. And if you are in a position where you can delegate some of those non-essential things that you don't enjoy, like where you can afford to do that, or you can like get other people in your household to help you with that, do that too. All right, do you have anything else to add to that, Justin? Or
No,
Janine?
I think that's great. It's kind of following the philosophy of Stephen Covey,
Mhm.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People and the 4 quadrants. And that is a golden piece of knowledge. It will enrich your life dramatically if you understand the concept of the 4 quadrants.
Mhm.
I love that book and that distinction. I mean, I've always said if you want to fit something into your life, you've got to give something up. So it's not like don't give up the important things, obviously, but you know where you can carve some time out. And there may be things you enjoy right now, but they're just short-lived. They're not the things that are going to give you a rich life that is consistent with a vision. The only other thing I'd say is if you live alone, it's different to living with a family, right? If you've got a partner and children. So I always trained my people to sit down and share your goals with your family, because it's actually a family that are building the business in many ways, because when they know your goals and they are enrolled in your goals, then the delegation and the responsibility of sharing the load of what it takes to run a house is equally distributed, and they get excited about your commitment and your dedication and time that you're putting into building your business. Otherwise, they just become resentful. So it's always good to share the goals, find out with family, like, you know, what are some of the things we want to achieve out of my commitment to building this business for us as a family. And then if you live on your own, you haven't got that accountability. You just, you know, you got to have that discipline. But that's what we're all here for. That's what these groups are for. That's what, you know, having, like, this is your extended family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you have accountability groups. And so, you know, something else, if you really want to do, is you could actually write down for a few days where you're spending your time. I know people have done that. Like, it's like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and actually look at it. And I know I've done that exercise in the past, and you'll probably be like quite shocked at where your time is going when you actually look at it, like, you know. And I know I can have like like a lot of time wasting habits creep into my life just because I'm like, whatever, reading the news, like just doing like, you know, random stuff that doesn't actually, like, it's not important. It's not like proper self-care for myself, and it's not essential to, you know, getting me towards my vision and my goals.
Yeah, I mean, have a think about, you know, if what would you want people to know you as if it was your funeral, like watching a lot of Netflix, or, you know, making a difference in the world and having a life that sings and inspiring others for that. Like, just even if you think about that, it's like, oh, wow, I know where I'm investing time that's not really going to give me the life I want.
Yeah. Yeah, so for this week, the homework is go to this page, answer those questions at the top. You know, now's a great time to check in. Be honest. Be really honest with yourself. And then you can get a piece of paper and you can split it into 4 quadrants: the essential, non-essential, important, not important. Use this as a guide and write where you're spending your time now. And then make like, you know, you can split each of those quadrants into 2 even, like what you're doing now and what you're going to change, what you're going to implement. Right? And then schedule it on your calendar, right? So we've done a lot of work on like you setting your vision up, setting your goals, but this is like where it's like where the rubber meets the road and you make things happen, is actually looking at this stuff and putting this essential and important in your diary every day, every week. So it's really important. Like, I still have like my paper diary. See, it's my virtual background. I've got all my work things scheduled in there. It has a thing where I track my exercise and my water every day, and I do it every work day. Like, I put everything in there and like look at what I'm doing. So like it's like a constant practice staying and like keeping focused in that essential and important side of the square. Like, it's constant. Like, if you stop your habits to keep yourself in there, it's pretty easy to fall straight back out of there. I don't know if other people would agree with that, but it's pretty easy to get distracted and to fall out of those habits. So it's really important to to put processes in place. Like I have like my personal processes. People have heard me talk about them before, and like I think people often think it sounds too simple. I've managed projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and I see a business in the same way. Every day before I finish work, I look in my calendar, I look at my list, and I write down the most important things I've got to do the next day. And then I go to bed and I forget about it. Simple, but it's a discipline. Who else here actually like does something simple like that on a daily basis? Because it's the daily discipline that keeps you focused.
I use iCal to run my life, but I'm definitely more effective when I do the listing and I prioritize the list morning and night. And I do that hard copy. It's harder to do that digital.
There's like something that happens to your brain when you physically write something on a piece of paper. So you know, I really recommend, like obviously I keep all of my appointments in a digital diary. Like we live in a digital world. I use digital project management software, which I work with Fan Now Assistant and all of that. But I still write my list down every day. And I don't put too many things on there either. I'll just put like a few key things. And then if I have some other time through the day, I'll go to my digital list and I'll do like some small things that might be take 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that.
I have actually put a PDF that you can download from the Dropbox in the chat box there. And that is a schedule form, which has just got your Monday to Sunday, 6 a.m. till right through to 5 a.m. So you can actually write in there your schedule and use your 168 hours that we all have to best effect. In the words of Jim Rohn, it is the set of the sail that determines your success, not the winds. The same winds of fortune or something blow upon us all, but it is the set of the sail that makes the difference. And how you organize your time is very pivotal to the foundation of the set of your sail.
Yeah.
What are you doing and when?
And, you know, schedule those things that are important, like to you, that make you feel more fulfilled. Like, so, you know, there's things that'll make you feel like, so doing a workout for me is way as important for my self-care, way more important than watching like an hour of Netflix, right? And for Justin, it would be like him spending time in the garden is going to be way more fulfilling for him than just like watching a movie or being on social media, right? Like it's going to make him feel more fulfilled and actually make him feel more restored for work. So it's really important to be cognizant of those.
Can I just say something here? I've been an adult student in my 40s and 60s. I went back and did my nursing training when I turned 40. And so I've used a lot of time management skills, and I had 2 teenagers then, and people used to say, oh, how did you get on with the study? And I said, fantastic, top of the class, but don't ask about the housework. But I used to start on the hour, and every 10 to the next hour, I'd have the 10-minute break. And I've carried that on. And so I've had the diary, I've had the phone. I don't use a calendar because I'm always on the move, but I've found that those skills, and then I did, I took time out from work and did, I didn't finish, but I was doing a grad dip in journalism in my 60s, and I employed the same practices then. So I've always had a diary, I've always had a planner, and I've been really good at focusing. I live on my own, so it's really easy, but I've outsourced things like budgeting. So that was something that I had a lot of difficulty with. So I'm signed up with My Budget. They pay all my bills for me, and I don't have to worry about that. I don't have a garden. I do my own laundry. Don't like cooking, but you know, I've worked out what my priorities are. So yeah.
So yeah, definitely like go through and review all of that. And if you like need some help, reach out to your accountability group. Or if you're like thinking, I'd really love to like delegate some aspect that, you know, you don't like I don't do my book work or my tax or anything like that. You know, you can ask for like, how would you go about like delegating this out? Like I know there's a lot of like, I'm like the queen of outsourcing. So I know a lot of ways that you can, you know, different ideas, and other people in the group will too, about how you can get help around different things. And sometimes it's not as expensive as what you might think, and get that thing out of your way, you know, like that you really don't enjoy, and or that you are really challenged and takes you like a long time. Like there's things I'm not good at, right? And that are quite cumbersome and time consuming for me because they're not in my zone of genius, like cleaning. I'm such a terrible house cleaner. I'm terrible at it. Like I'm awful. So I'm like, I delegate it because it's like I don't enjoy it. It makes me miserable, and it takes me ages. I'm terrible. So it's like, and we all have like these things in our life, every single one of us, that is like just things that we're not in flow with. So have a think about all that. I'm looking forward to seeing your, you know, scheduled in actions for the week. And yeah, and just, you know, be really honest in your accountability groups. I know it can be kind of scary to be like, oh my gosh, I've just realized I'm like wasting like 6 hours a day on non-essential stuff in my life, right? But just, you know, if you realize it, you can change it. All right, anything else to add, Janine, before we wrap up for the day? I'm going to go I've got another call at once. I'm going to have a quick bite to eat.
No, it's good. I mean, I years ago, like running a business from home, it does require a lot more discipline. And I have said this once before, I actually got a coach in for 3 weeks that had a massive shift in my mindset of how I stay focused on the activities that are going to build my business, and how I tend to the non-essential stuff at some point, right? So I got very good at leaving dishes for 3 days. Like that would never have happened before. But you know what? Having no dishes in the sink wasn't going to change my life, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was a challenging thing for your personality type, right?
Oh my God, you kidding? Like I thought I was going to get boils if there were dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
After 3 weeks, like couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Seriously, was a massive mind shift for me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just have a think about that and how you can, what you can do in your own life to create some more time to build your dream. Because, you know, I want to see you all have your dream, because that's really powerful. And then you'll actually have more time for like the other stuff anyway. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to sign off. Goodbye, everyone. It was great to see you all.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Justin.
Nicole. That was
Bye.
wonderful.
Thank
Bye.
you.